without dark.
Y'all from Georgia? Alright, this is the last band of the evening. I want to thank everybody for coming out and staying all this time. Toughing it out with the best of us here at Sandsburger Joint for the sacrifice of the Nazarene Child, 666. Right now, this is going to be the last band of the evening, so I want you to give them the best effort you can muster. Please welcome to the stage, Demoncy.
right, there you go. Some Demoncy from San Antonio, I believe, 2006? At the Sacrifice of the Nazarene Child. I was there for that performance, and still one of my most favorite performances from Demoncy from back. Well, anytime I seen him, it was just very savage, as Chat was saying, and just with VJS on guitar always rules when he's with the band with him as well, and Robert was on drums at the time, but he's now doing vocals. So let's talk about some Demoncy. Let me bring in Jeff. Jeff, you ready to come on?
Ran.
All right.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, man? How you doing?
How you doing? Thanks for joining us tonight. We're talking all things Demoncy, partly because they're one of the absolute best bands in the history of U.S. black metal, but also because, as I guess everybody knows by now, I have now officially joined the lineup, and I'm really, really proud to be able to say that. So
yeah, dude, that's pretty crazy and awesome. So congrats publicly for
getting
the gig in Demoncy, dude. So as I know, you've been a fan of Demoncy for quite some time.
Oh,
I mean that's obvious.
I can't say since the absolute beginning, because the band's origins are actually 1989, and I did not mean from yeah.
But decades,
decades for sure. Faustian Dawn was my entry point, and Joined in Darkness sealed the deal for me. That is such a massive album. So I'm really excited to be able to perform that material with the band. That's a dream come true. Really, I can't overstate it.
Yeah. And
it'll be my first return to black metal proper in 12 years. So.
What's up, Iris? Yeah, 12 years. Wow. I mean, time flies. Jeez. So how do you feel about that, getting, back into black metal? And what's, I know it won't be the same approach as you did with Aversifera, but I'm sure you're going to have some familiarity in there as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was always happy to get back into it under ideal circumstances. People asked me if I was going to do another band like that, like Averse, and I said no, because I didn't want to have to start the rebuild process of that over again. And I didn't. I didn't think in terms of black metal there was anything more that I could say personally on the subject. I killed myself to make that monument for what it was worth for all those years. But Demoncy, I mean, that was just how could you say no to that?
Yeah, that's like how could it's like getting called up to the big leagues, from U.S. black metal. I mean, it's right there with Absu and Pro Fanatica or something of that nature. So yeah, Demoncy.
Yeah.
So how did that go down? If you don't mind asking.
I mean, I guess the very simplified version of it is just that Exithra and I have known each other all this time. I think we were in contact. Okay, here's a little bit of background for some of you younger folks, I guess.
Yeah, let's bring them in the loop here.
When the internet became widely available was about 1995, and websites were, of course, a new thing. Email was a new thing.
Yep.
And underground black metal websites were definitely few and far between. And because of a friend of ours who was very tech savvy, he was also in college with us. He was a fan and a friend and wanted to do an Aversifera website, which he did. And
That's right. You guys had one of the earliest websites. I forgot about
that.
Yeah.
We did indeed. And I'm glad we did, because it, among other things, it allowed us to connect a lot of dots with a lot of people really quickly. Like, I think probably by 1997, Anus was actually huge in that too. They were like the first metal review site, I would say. One of them anyway. I mean, it was like one of the first metal, like online zines kind of thing. But I think I made contact with Exithra back in 1997, and then we've been in contact ever since. So we've known each other a really long time. He got together with Paulus Cressman, formerly of Weapon, and also the really great underrated band Sacramentary Abolishment, if you guys remember that one. So
Steering Stone.
Yeah, the Distracting Stone. Yes.
Distracting. I always call it. Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
But yeah. So I was friends with Paulus already, also because I toured with him in Weapon and known him from around. He's a fantastic guy, fantastic drummer, and it just became. It's kind of how just those things just sort of happen very organically. Imprecation came to play out in L.A. Exithra is now stationed in L.A. That's where he operates these days. And we spent the evening, like we went out to dinner and just hung out before the show and got to talking. And the idea just kind of evolved from there. He was looking to do kind of a revamp of the lineup yet again. And between working with him and Paulus, I just kind of threw my hat in the ring and I just said, hey, listen, if you need help with that, let me know. And he took me up on it right away, which I'm really pleased that he trusted me. I mean, I like to think that I've seen every iteration of Demoncy live. Like, as you saw in that clip, Exithra was playing drums. He writes all the material on drums, on guitar, does vocals, everything. I mean, he's like the ultimate one-man band.
It is. It's him. The band is his whole project, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's one of the few, I mean, there's no one-man bedroom black metal band about it. It's the real deal. He's just a vessel for this black energy that he can express.
Don't even try to compare it to something like that, people. It's his band, but he's been going out for years with full lineups for decades. So it's not some stupid bedroom joke or something like that. This is he knows what he's doing. I mean, obviously.
Yeah. So I've seen every iteration of that I'm aware of. I mean, once they kind of came, they've always been sort of intermittently active, and I saw them play in at that show in San Antonio in 2006. I saw them play in 2003 in New York City with Antaeus. That was a rare one.
Demoncy and Antaeus. How's that for a fucking black metal overdose, dude?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. That was Empire of the Fallen Angel era, so they had a different lead singer than.
I remember that. Didn't he play in Austin with them one time?
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't remember that lineup in Austin. Shit, maybe I missed it.
The Empire of the Fallen Angel, where they were not down tuned.
Whoa, how did I miss that? Wow.
Yeah, dude. Me and Yvonne went up. It was It had to be around mid to late 2000s, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, I forgot a very young version of Hellgoat. They were called something else. Opened up the show. Right.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that sounds familiar, but I don't think I saw that one. But then there's been. Wow. I wasn't there. I missed it. I don't know how I missed it.
Maybe you were out on tour. Maybe you're doing something.
Yeah. That's true. Because I was touring heavily in 2003. So that might be it. Anyway, so there's a lot of different versions of the band with Exithra doing different functions. And he did a lineup with the guys from Curiphagium where he was fronting and just singing. Hey, thank you, by the way. I appreciate that. And I like that version a lot, too. He's a great front man. I mean, there's only a handful of frontmen I like who aren't also playing an instrument, and that includes Dave from Imprecation and MKM from Antaeus, of course. But Exithra's in that league for sure. But now, of course, he's doing a version of it where he's playing guitar, and then we got a second guitarist, bassist. That's me now, and then of course drums. The good news for anybody who cares is we're just watching that footage with VJS. VJS is back in the band. He's going to be joining us on the 2025 dates that we already have booked.
Holy shit. Damn.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah, dude, that's going to be a really good lineup. Fuck.
Yeah, it seems kind of like I can't see, that's the thing. Even though I'm in the band, I'm not trying to speak for it outside of just my role in it.
Sure,
so I don't want to. I don't want to say too much on behalf of the band, like make an official statement. But I feel like, I've known VJS a long time too. He's amazing, And I feel like it's just a really amazing kind of homecoming for Demoncy to have just the four of us together and doing it this way. And
Well, for the legitimate black metal folks, you know, who
yeah,
are, let's be real, didn't just get into it last week, but been doing it for decades. So yeah,
yeah.
that's going to be a really good lineup right there.
I think it's going to be a really authentic interpretation of Demoncy. So that's the thing I can say, you know,
So
confidently about it.
is VJS back in the States, or is he?
No, he's over in Europe,
He's
and
still okay. I was just wondering.
yeah. So I just confirmed. I mean, I knew he was going to be coming in on at least a couple of the shows, but now it turns out we got 4 shows lined up, and he's going to be on all of them. So that's going to really be great. I've never gotten to perform with him either. So, and I've always thought everything he was doing was really cool. So
For
getting
sure.
to be in a band with him is great.
Is he still, was it Sargeist or?
Sargeist. Yeah, he's doing
in
that.
Fuck yeah.
And Demoncy was just announced on Steelfest, and so it's really going to be jam-packed with Demoncy personnel, because on Saturday it's going to be Imprecation, of course, with me. I'm going to be on tour with Imprecation in May, leading up to Steelfest.
Steelfest, yeah.
Yeah. So on that Saturday, it's going to be, the lineup is actually going to be in a block. Imprecation, Sargeist, and then Demoncy. So it's going to be pretty amazing.
Knocking them all out. Boom, boom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you guys, you're on Metal Threat too? I didn't even...
Yes. Yeah.
The Metal Threat flyer, by the way, is like a ridiculous flyer on how awesome it is.
Yes.
I'm like, hey, is this even real? You know, because this looks like something that would never happen in America back just a couple of years ago.
It makes me think of Rites of Darkness 3.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
But this time, like, the bands will play most of them. You know,
most of them. Yeah. I mean, that's just you kind of go through. You know how, like, back in the frontier days, farmers would have like 20 kids because only like 9 of them would live or whatever. It's kind of like that. You know, Paul Dunsky, the promoter for Metal Threat, I think he's just booking as many awesome bands as he can, and even if like a third of them drop off, it's still an
awesome
festival. Yeah. So, I was going to call out the dates for Demoncy for 2025 that we have confirmed so far.
Do that,
in case
man.
anybody cares. We are going to be appearing at Horrid Days in Mexico City on the weekend of March 15th and 16th. That's going to be nuts. That lineup's crazy. That's got Concrete Winds and Omega Vortex and
I think I saw
lot of
that,
cool shit. Then, of course, Steelfest from May 15th to May 17th. We're going to be on the 17th, all of us. And then we are playing a festival in Colombia, Bogota, on August 29th and 30th. And then, of course, Metal Threat in Chicago on the weekend of October 3rd. So pretty much got, with maybe a couple of additional exceptions, we've got the whole year already spelled out for us for 2025.
Yeah, I think I might have a birthday present to myself next year and just go to Metal Threat.
Hell yeah, come on. That'd be great.
Because Omega Vortex, obviously, I got to see them.
Yeah.
Seeing you with Demoncy, just the whole damn thing is outrageous. It's outrageous.
Yeah. It's gonna be incredible. Adorier is gonna be back. If you haven't heard that new album,
that one's really good too.
That's so depraved. I'll say it again. I mean, it's so funny because Melissa, the singer, I have never heard a woman say words like cunt or fuck with more visceral aggression than that. I mean,
very jaded.
It's screwed up. I mean, that's nothing new. Author of Incest was like that too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that new one is nuts. So that new Concrete Winds is also psychotic. I'm guessing you've heard that one already.
The Concrete, I heard.
Yeah. So
Concrete Winds. There was lost my train of thought. Oh God, Fraser's here. You know what that means, Jeff?
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Increased annoyance.
Yes, that. I don't know if you were watching the other night, but we found one of Fraser's great relatives. If I can find the clip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hold on, everybody. Where'd it go? Oh, I see what I did wrong. Never mind.
Ah,
We'll just play this one.
you show us later.
All right, there you go. That's
use
one of the phrases.
use the Stallone version.
Yes, I ain't gonna give him the good one.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Oh man. All right, so you got some dates lined up.
Mm-hmm.
How obviously, I guess you'll be flying into LA to do rehearsals and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna practice mostly remotely like I always have. But yeah, I will be flying in for a practice or two just to get aligned.
And I know you're capable of doing it because when you filled in for Antaeus here in San Antonio, Rites of Darkness, that's still another oddly enough.
Oh, I only tech for them.
That's right.
Antonio. I played
in Canada.
I played with them in Quebec. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just got right up on stage and did it. We didn't rehearse or anything.
The old brain's losing it. But that Antaeus set was still one of the most violent black metal sets I witnessed from a band.
That was
ever.
crazy. Yeah, that was one of the best. I mean, I never thought the only reason that it's not the best Antaeus performance I've ever seen is because then I saw them again in Saint Germain right outside of Paris in 2013, and that was just fucking nuts.
I'm sure the crowd was like over the top too. Right?
Oh yeah, I looked like you know how like if you're like when people get deceleration injuries, like when they're in car accidents, like at the seatbelt across their chest. Some dude ran into me. I didn't even feel it because I was so amped on adrenaline. But this guy hit me hard, and like when I got home, I had this humongous contusion across my chest. Yeah. So
I remember seeing that from the 90s. Remember that live Antaeus from France, I think.
Yes.
Paris. And it's just so violent, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, the French kind of bring it when it's a band they want to fucking get into, man.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. But also fantastic. And I'll stop short of saying that Demoncy will be getting over to Europe because we don't have a plan, but I do happen to know that's something we're talking about. So, obviously we're going to go to Finland, but I was thinking if we could get more dates going.
Yeah, I mean, right there would kind of seem like that'd be a good idea to get a whole thing rolling.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone's getting old Fraser's porn spawn joke. Never gets old. So, you got that going on. Is there any news on Trenchant or what's going on there?
Yes. Well, thanks for asking. And to be clear, this doesn't change the imprecation or Trenchant agenda like at all. And both bands are still going to be doing their thing. Obviously, imprecations going. We are putting the finishing touches on the mix of our final album. And we will be, of course, touring in May in Europe, like I mentioned. Trenchant, we are currently writing the new album. We have 4 songs complete, including the title track. So it's coming along really well. Trenchant's been the quietest. We haven't played any shows, obviously, since like February. Trenton.
That's his voice.
Yeah. And but we are working on the new album. It will be out in 2025 if everything goes well. But I know that one's been quiet, and I know people have been wondering. But we're moving forward with that as well.
And their label, what's
Darkness Shall Rise.
Okay, yeah, that's a kind of becoming European label, right?
Yeah, it's like Gods of War did the CD, Darkness Shall Rise did the LP. We'll see how that shakes out for the new one.
Gotcha.
And but yeah, that's something to look forward to. With Trenchant, I'm really glad because so often bands, my bands included, have gotten the sophomore slump where the second album isn't as good as the debut. And I can say with certainty that the second Trenchant album is going to be as good as the first. So that feels good to be able to say.
Yeah. Or hopefully, if not better.
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely have its own voice. I mean,
but I hear you. You can't really.
I can't
decide that.
That's exactly it. I mean, it'll be up to you guys. You get all the time in the world to write the first album. Altars of Madness is proof of that. So, which just as an aside, Morbid Angel canceling their European
I just saw
tour.
that, dude. It's so ridiculous.
And then I Am Morbid replacing them. I mean, as a promoter, it actually makes perfect sense. I don't think
it's funny, but as a promoter, he's like, well, I mean, it's the next,
Yeah, we have Morbid
thing.
Angel at home. It's like, diet version's okay.
At least I don't play any of the new stuff, like that's like the one thing you can say, isn't
yeah, it's going to be nothing
plus.
but hits.
Yeah, nothing but Vincent era stuff. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I was like, so they replaced tomato with tomato. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Ketchup with catsup.
So they didn't go to McDonald's; they went to Burger King. All right, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, you're still getting a hamburger, man. I know the jokes write themselves. I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, that was funny. I was reading that. At first, I was like, "Is this like a spoof article?" Because it's the premise is ridiculous, but it does make sense at the same time. So you're just like, "Well, okay, this is legit. Okay, that's hilarious." I'm sure Dave Vince is like, "I'll take that paycheck. Give it to me, man.
I'll happily take that, y'all."
Yeah.
I just love the idea that Morbid Angel and I Am Morbid would actually be competing for space. I don't think that's actually what's going on in general, but okay. I will give credit where credit's due. I have seen footage of I Am Morbid, and they play the songs faithfully.
Yeah.
They even do the reverse opening on Immortal Rights, which we always thought they should have done in the old days.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's something to it. It's just you have to put up now with Dave's showboating, and that's kind of hard to take. When they did the Covenant reunion tour back in 2010, thereabouts, I think, not reunion, but anniversary tour, but it was David Vincent, Trey, and then Tim Young, and all that. When they were playing old songs, but then Dave was kind of jazzing them up, like doing the goth vocals and stuff. Like they played Immortal Rights, and he was doing the
I remember those live videos. Yeah,
and
I was like, no, stop.
2013. Thank you, Jake. People must have thought I was crazy because I'm in the crowd, and when he's doing that, I kept yelling mixed feelings. Really loud. So flashbacks. Yeah, that was a really complicated time. Oh my God. We went and saw Morbid Angel play the Covenant tour in downtown Austin, and it was Erica, my wife, and I, and that's when death metal hipsterism was first just starting to rear its head.
Yeah.
We beat on so many people at that show. It was horrible. It was like the return of Paul Bailoff. Anybody who got arm's length was, just like hitting them. Dustin Putz threw a guy into a pole. It was awesome.
So crazy, Dustin.
So, yeah, those were the days. And this is before bands like Tomb Mold and Blood Incantation actually cemented that into its own quadrant.
They got their own little world going on now in the metal spectrum of their that stuff over there. Yeah, I
mean, at least it siphons them away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got their own little sector, but they do get a little too much attention when there's so much killer stuff that could be, being talked about. But
absolutely, and that's the problem. Is then that becomes to the younger side. Oh, this is death metal. It's like
this is what it is. Yeah.
No, first album Deicide is death metal.
Yeah.
So
Incantation and all that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we ended up with so many incantation clones in the tens, all the cavern core that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I just did a whole episode of my show, Metal Enema. We did what we're calling necrovorship, which is all the
I don't
bands.
mind that.
I don't either, but
that can keep on going in my book because there's not enough.
See, that's the thing, though. We played 2 hours of necrovorship bands. There's more than you think, and we're about to.
Was Pius Levis on there?
Yes.
There you go.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
But in Omega Vortex and like all the usual suspects. But I mean, we're going to. I like them. Don't get me wrong. I like bands that sound like that. But we're about to. It's not hipster, but we are still about to reach critical mass with that too, where it becomes its own. Where people are repeating the repeat. I mean, like, you and Link, of course, and Pius Levis, you came by that legitimately, your first wave.
Yeah, we're not like trying to recreate anything. We lived it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I honestly think, yes, we have Necrovore influences, but we're not trying to be a Necrovore core band. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
You listen to it, you're like, oh, there's more black metal in there, and straight hell. To the trained ear, there's some cryptic slaughter in there if you're listening. But but obviously Necrovore is a big thing on there as well. Yeah.
So I guess we have more. I guess we have some more Demoncy tracks lined up.
Yeah, we sure do, man. Let's play. I got something on the iHod over here. We'll play Malum Incarnatus.
Yeah.
Est. Let's listen to this one.
Legacy.
All right, there you go.
Yeah,
That EP is so damn good, dude.
it really is. Great. It's funny because everything with Demoncy has like a common current in terms of sound and execution, but that one has such a great dirtiness to it. It
Yeah.
makes me think of, I guess, Xithra's short but crucial time in Profanatica. Um,
Good
and
call. I was catching that too, because
yeah,
you said that, and in my mind, I'm thinking that's a little Knickerbory, that one riff in there, which
yeah,
obviously, Lenny said we just played Knickerbory riffs in the early days and shit like that. So
yeah,
there you go. Wow, funny. But yeah, that track's real cool, man.
yeah.
Good
Uh,
stuff.
Definitely. That was Ian Schwab, who was in that lineup at the time. He's also in Cerebral Rot and Corophagium.
Okay, there you
That
go.
was him on drums. So I think that came out really good, and I think it's really cool that it was effectively released at the same time with their newest album, Black Star Gnosis, which has it's Black Star is a little less raw, but still dark. Yeah, that's the thing. I like the EP an awful lot, and it's just the approach that edges it out over Black Star, even though Black Star is really
Oh
great.
yeah, I mean, some things can be great and some things can be greater, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the EP, yeah, I'm on the same boat with. They're pretty much the consensus here that yeah, the EP fucking rules, man.
Yeah,
Oh, it's on Hell's
and
Headbangers, easy to get, dude. Just
it
get
is.
over there and get it.
In case anyone's curious, and this is a big deal for me because it's my favorite album from them. What we're going to be doing in 2025 is playing "Joined in Darkness" in its entirety. That is going to be the set. So
Wow, the
that's
whole.
going to be really excellent.
All right, see, Joined in Darkness. This is my time to brag. Is
Yeah.
has a special spot for me because, as you know, we were label mates. My old band were label mates with them when that came out, and that
Yep.
was now I had heard Demoncy prior, but not like really, didn't really pay attention. Not saying I don't like the old stuff now. I thought it was all
Mm-hmm.
cool, but when I heard Joined in Darkness, I was like, holy God, this is fucking crushing.
Yeah. That was. I mean, I feel like "Joined in Darkness" was the landmark.
That's
Um,
where it like started firing on all cylinders, right? It was
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I remember talking with Killjoy and he was like, yeah, I signed Demoncy. I'm putting out Joined in Darkness, and he was like, I'll let you hear some stuff, and he sent me like an advance on it, and I was like, oh man, this is
Yeah.
wow, it's like so heavy, dude. It was like my mind back then equated it to like kind of like black metal incantation or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it
It
was
just.
just definitely not European.
Mm-mm.
It had its own fucking evil. And that's one thing. These guys, well, I guess you now, are so good at just making everything sound evil.
Yeah. I mean, that's all. That's all Xithra. You
Yeah,
know.
he has it. He's nailed it, dude. It's always sounds evil, dark. There's never, like where you hear something and you might go, You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we hear that some
Yeah.
bands will like just be ripping it, then something will happen in the song, and you'll be like, "What happened there?"
Yeah. Yeah.
That never happens with Demoncy. It's always gonna fucking be evil as fuck.
It's really evil, really relentless. I mean, it's just this wall, and particularly "Joined of Darkness" is just this big, massive wall of evil, and it's cool because it gives me an excuse to. I'm not much of a gearhead in that I get locked into stuff that I like, and then I just play on it for years and years and years and years, and I'm finally upgrading my distortion pedal on my bass because I needed extra oomph
To
to
get
play
yeah,
"Joined in Darkness," so it's going to be like huge, um, and that's the thing. I feel like I was talking about this with a friend just the other day.
later, Tony.
So I mean, so much of Demoncy's material it's not what you're playing because it's not simplistic, but it's also not like it's not tech by any stretch.
No,
It's
no,
not like
no.
it's not like Deicide or something like that. It's really
Well,
about feeling.
you're not gonna get this like massive workout on your hands.
Right.
I see what you mean by that. Yeah.
Long passages, a lot of repetition. but it works fantastically. And the thing it comes down to is it's not about knowing how to play it. It's about knowing how to play it with that feeling. You've got to understand what it is you're trying to accomplish. And you've just, I've said this for years, you have to feel it. You must feel it, especially if you're going to get up there in paint and spikes and all that stuff. You've got to feel it, or you're just going to look like a clown. You really will.
That, is the fine line with black metal. If you're not really into what black metal is and you're playing black metal, the people who are really into black metal are going to sniff it out.
Oh yeah,
and they're
especially live.
Yeah, exactly. Live, they're gonna be like, these dudes aren't really into this. It's just
I mean, this is where the whole panda bear joke started happening. That wasn't because of the European scene. I'm sorry, but America owned and operated the panda bear black metal look.
Yeah.
Because everybody was doing it, and bands that had no business ever putting on paint did it. And then they're up there, which is the round eyes and then the white face, and it all looks like cake frosting. Yep. It's either those are the two modes. You either had the guys with like the 2 inches of corpse paint on. Birthday D is still alive but dormant. That's the short answer to that question. But you either had the guys like with it caked on, so that it looked like they were like the top of a birthday cake, or they used the water-based paint, so the minute they started sweating, it just all ran down onto their shirt. It
just looked ridiculous. Yeah, and especially if you have a big round head and you put the panda makeup on, ain't nothing you can do but be able to get laughed at.
I know. And there's so many pie-faced guys out there doing
they look like, remember that old 1920s with the moon or whatever? They kind of look like that.
Or if you ever saw like an old Three Stooges cartoon where they get the pie in the face and the guy would wipe his eyes out and go, whoa,
I started a black metal band.
Yeah.
That's not how it goes, man.
Okay, just in case we want to get into minutia, the trick is baby powder. It isn't actually baby powder. It's a transparent sealing powder that you use to seal on the paint. This is what we used in a Versifera. It was kind of amazing. I've told this story before, but back in the mid 90s, right when we were forming a Versifera, Gene Simmons was uncharacteristically generous. And in an interview in like Guitar Player magazine or something like that, he gave his entire recipe for how you put on the Kiss paint. This is, of course, pre-internet. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm just writing it down on a piece of paper with the magazine at Tower Records. And you have to use, it has to be all grease-based so it doesn't, wash off when your face gets wet or sweaty. And then you take what's called transparent sealing powder, SEALING, not sealing like the ceiling. But yeah, that's what King Diamond uses. That's what Gene and all those guys use. You get your black and your white on, and then you take a powder puff and you just tap it all over your face. And it's crazy because then you can even sweat through it and it won't wash off. Like, it was so weird because we'd be on stage and we'd be sweating, but the paint wouldn't run. So you're basically setting it. And I was the write that down SpongeBob meme. But it was funny later because we were on tour with this band in Ontario in 2003, and they were big fans of our band. They're saying, "Where did you figure out how to do your paint?" And we said, "Well, we got the recipe from Gene Simmons." And they thought we meant that he had told us personally. And then that
Gene
was like,
gave you up a call and gave you the whole
So you want to look like us? Oh, okay. Well, I hope you got something to write on because I'm going to show you. I'm only going to tell you this once, kid. But if you try to do my pen, I'm going to sue you. But yeah. So to that point, it's funny because I'm not going to be doing the Versifera paint, obviously, but I'm trying to just do something that'll be fitting of me. And God, after like we started doing it in 1996, like you guys, like you were in 95, and trying to reinvent your corpse paint theme after all these years, after there's been a kabillion bands, it's really hard. I actually went back to doing what I did initially, where I just draw like a head eyes, nose, mouth, and then I'd sketch out what I wanted to do. This is how we did it with the Versifera. We used just templates and created them. But I went through so many templates and went, no, that's this band. No, that's this band. Oh my God, no, that's Kiss. I can't, you know what I mean? Just variations on that. So
Yeah.
I finally got something that's sort of hybrid. Everybody will get to see it, but it took a lot of thinking. You can't just slap
that
it
was
on.
one of you beat me to one of my questions. I was asked if you were gonna stick with the original. I had a feeling you weren't, but I wanted to ask, or if you're gonna have something inspired but new,
Yeah.
from the original RAF corpse paint.
Yeah, you can get the transparent powder online. I mean, if you're serious about it, Ben Nye, NYE, Ben Nye Cosmetics. That's professional clown paint, and they sell all that stuff online. So, but I mean, you don't need anything that crazy.
I used to
powder.
go to like a professional costume shop and get
Yes.
the grease paint there and all that. That's
Yep.
your best bet. Now, I didn't do the sealing part of it back then because I don't think I knew. I mean, I knew about the grease paint, the clown paint,
Yeah.
whatever, and I used that. But I kind of liked the running through a little look and all that.
Yeah.
So either way, but just don't use that damn Halloween fucking from the Halloween store.
That stuff
vampire.
works.
Yeah.
It's basically wax. You do need a proper pot of like clown white, and then like everything has to be in like pots, and it has to be. I mean, I don't know if anybody cares. I don't know if anybody's going to do this, but this is just how it works.
We are really going off on a tangent here. Yeah.
Party City won't work. You have to go to a professional costume shop like Carl and I did. And there's little pots of black, and then you can get a pot of white, but it has to be kind of greasy. Like you swirl your finger around it. It actually is like kind of like cake frosting. And then you just apply it thinly, But, and don't just leave it circles around your eyes if you're going to do it.
Shut your eyes, or you'll have that stupid
the eyelids.
Yes, and it gives it away like, oh, you fucked up.
Yeah,
you don't know how to do it correctly.
All
right,
go ahead.
No, I'm just laughing. We gave everyone your makeup advice for black metal. First time on the Witching Hour.
Yeah. Yeah. So, also your teeth never looked more yellow in contrast to the white paint on your face. Doesn't matter how good your teeth are going to look fucking yellow.
Yeah. It's going to give it away bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody goes around thinking that Abbott has really bad teeth. It's not so much that, it's just that his teeth look yellow compared to the pure white of the paint. And that happens to all of us.
There's no color in that white skin when you got that white corpse paint on.
Yeah.
Just bam. Yeah. You want to play another? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you'd have to get your teeth capped to let it compete with the paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's play another track though.
Yeah. Let's go to another live video. Let me find
a
live track. Let's see what we got here. We already played San Antonio.
I think we have L.A.
Los Angeles and Oakland.
Yes.
You want to hear the Oakland one?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, here's some live Demoncy from Oakland. I forgot what year, but pretty recent.
2016.
Oh, okay, not that recent.
Hey, Carl, I can't hear you.
Because you got to take it off of mute.
Yeah.
There
All
you
right.
go. Thank you. Yeah, Oakland. Evil as Hell in Oakland. That was so
Yeah.
almost, what, 8 years ago?
That's
8 years?
yeah, I know. What the fuck?
Yeah,
I
jeez.
uh I was there for that show. That was
I
amazing.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Were you performing or were you just there?
Nope, just there. It was me and Nick from Trenchant and of course Imprecation. We went out there together and had a great time. That was a great show from Demoncy. I also saw him at MDF with the same lineup. I mean, Xithra is an unearthly front man. Just that's the thing. It's like I would compare him in many ways to Prescriptor, not in the way they perform, but the fact that they're both so unfettered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck convention, fuck meeting, conforming to this mold, just letting it take control of you and just to be swept up in it. And even when he's playing guitar like he is now, and we'll see some footage of that in just a few here, but Xithra still exudes that same presence. And as much as I like him as a drummer, I told him this. I was like, you belong up front.
Yeah. I mean, because it's his band, it's vision.
Yeah.
And he's so good up front.
Yeah, he's pretty.
I'm trying to think if I seen him perform just with him, on vocals up front. I don't think I have. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you would have had to catch them like 2014 or later. So
they haven't been down here in a while, right?
No, they played at DTF.
Yeah,
over
but
the
he's
summer.
already playing guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was funny when I heard that. I was like, when I heard he was going to be on guitar too, I was just like, it's going to sound great, sure, but I wonder what that's going to be like. And of course, he nails it.
Yeah. It works.
Yeah.
So man, that's awesome, though. When you told me this, in a while back, I was just like, damn. And then VJ, it's like VJS back on the other guitar and
that's
the drummer dude. That's just that's great to hear.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think it's going to be something really special, and it's one of those, there's those things that you kind of always aspire to do, and you don't count on it ever happening. I always wanted to play in Demoncy, just sort of theoretically. I'm like, oh man, that would be so cool to be, even to step in session, kind of like I did for Antaeus or something like that, just even to do it once. And now I'm going to get to do it a whole bunch of times. So that's really great.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I ever joined. Well, the Cutthroats, but that's a little different. But joined another band. I think all my bands have been from the ground up.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at my own profile on well, I wanted to see how they were referring to me in Demoncy, because I am going, because it's black metal. I am going by Wrath once again. But they just had me as Jeff Tandy. That's fine. But I noticed where it had under my name, like the band, they always show the bands that you played in or X bands. I was like going, man, I've become a jobber. I was I played in Krieg. I played in Antaeus. I played in Death Wolf.
I performed with Krieg. Remember way back the first live Krieg performance? Was it the first? Or I don't know, but it's one of the earliest. It's one of the earliest for sure.
If you knew Neil back then, you eventually played in Krieg at some point, I think.
Pretty much, yes.
Which was cool,
A jobber, though. I won't call it a jobber, though.
No. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't describe myself that way either. I only played for.
I know you're playing, but yeah.
I only play for bands I really care about and where I feel like I can actually do something.
For sure.
Like bring my own contribution into it. I would never do it just to have something to do. I know guys from other bands, that I've toured with who they'll just join up at the band that they're not even interested in just so they can get on the next tour and keep getting paid to be on the road. And
that's a jobber. They're looking for a gig, and they're probably professionals, and they can pull it off and play well and look good on stage and all that fun stuff. And That is their job. I don't think there's really nothing wrong with it.
No,
Yeah.
I would just hate that. I would totally hate that. But I mean, half the time, the reason I didn't do more touring as a stage manager and a tech is because I couldn't get out of my headspace of not wanting to tech for bands that I didn't like. You know, it's like, their music sucks. I don't want to, I got offered tours with bands and I'm like going, I'm not going to be able to be fully vested in what they're doing because I don't like their music and, all that type of stuff. So I ended up doing it as much as I could have. And that's just fine. I liked working for Marduk and Immolation and, Rotting Christ and stuff like that.
Yeah. When I like, in HOD and all that, when we were out on the road a lot and all that, I kind of was like, I love playing, on stage. That part was awesome. But I don't know if I'm a person who wants to be on the road all the time, too. Kind of get a taste of that. I kind of like the comforts of home, Like some people don't care about any of that, but I do, I like, having able to take a shower, call me crazy. I like, being able to eat when I want or whatever, So whatever floats anyone's boat, what they want to do.
Super. Had a conversation with an ex-military drama victim. He got tailed and told the story. I thought of you. Oh, damn. Wow. Okay. I guess you're referring to like my PI days. But I could tolerate being on the road really well. I actually liked it quite a bit. I just didn't want to be stuck with the band that I didn't care about. That was really it. I didn't want to be insincere and go, that was great. Your shitty song sounded really good tonight. Boy, your crowd's a bunch of retards.
Well, maybe if I didn't deal with so much of the drama that will pop up with certain people on the road. And then, I might have a different view on that. That's kind of true, too.
Yeah. I mean, I got to be on the road with a bunch of professionals and under good accommodations. Like, on the tour bus, you were there, too. And those were great.
Oh, yeah. No, the tour bus, that's different.
Yeah, van is rough.
Van's rough. Tour bus, easy money. You just go to sleep or, whatever, and wake up, you're already there.
Yep. And sometimes your singer doesn't know where to tell the cab driver to take you and almost doesn't make it to Canada.
Oh, God. Then gets in the tour manager's bunk, the wrong bunk, and vomits in it.
I forgot about that. Oh, no. I forgot about that. Oh, my God. Yeah.
Fucking. And people wonder why TA joined Goatwhore.
Yeah.
He was dealing with nutty shit like that all the time.
TA was made to join Goatwhore, I would say.
I can't even be mad about it. It really is true that if there was a ban for TA just to be full time in, Goatwhore would be it. And it happened. It's fucking almost like the stars aligned in its perfection for him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a perfect fit. So I've always been happy for him. I actually did a lot of time on the road with the Goatwhore guys. I've never been that into their sound, and they know that. But I really have a lot of respect for their work ethic and their dedication. And I mean, they're really. I'm a honest
fan of their first two. I really like. Yeah. Some good riffs and Celtic Frost and blast beats. Yeah, first two I like a lot.
No, and they've got their moments. Don't get me wrong. It's just I remember being out with them at the Versifera and screaming at them after a show because we were the opening band on the package, under them, and coming backstage going, "Your fans fucking suck." Goatwhore fans were a very different type of fan from like it was us.
They even know it too. Their fans are not the typical black metal.
Yeah,
people,
Sammy was funny. He goes, "Yeah, we hate him too." But yeah. Cheers to TA. I'm glad it all. I mean, it's.
All TA wanted to do was be on the road 24/7.
Yes, he was. Like I said, he was made for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, he was like always wanting to hard to play more and more and more. Not, the same fucking town every weekend, but, just go out and do more and more and more.
Oh my God. And those guys would tour so fucking much that like they were on rotation where like we played like Nashville, and that's the first time we ever played Nashville. And then Goatwhore got off stage and went, "All right, guys, see you in 4 weeks." They were going to come right back through.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they live on the road, so
yeah,
that's what TA wants to do, so
mm-hmm.
perfect situation.
Yeah.
So you're going to be shuffling, let me see, Imprecation,
mm-hmm.
Demoncy,
and
Trenchant.
That's it. I've hit
3. Okay, that's reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, each band, it'll make me busy for sure, because it's like each band generally plays about, it's weird when you count it back. It's like, I'd say Imprecation in a busy year, we play like about 7 shows a year. That's it. But now in 2025, I'm going to play 10 shows in a row with Imprecation on tour. And then I'm going to play 5 shows with Demoncy, and then however many with Trenchant, which will probably be 4 or 5 ideally. So that's actually, I've like tripled my show count, overnight. So, and I mean, it's like, it doesn't sound like much, but if you go, okay, well, there's 12 months in a year, and then there's 4 weekends a month. I mean, ultimately that's not that many days to play with, because, everybody in the band is, everybody in the band has jobs at this point. The mean age of people in the band is like 51 years old. So, so yeah, basically half my weekends in the year next year are going to be playing, effectively playing shows. And
well, that's perfect then.
Saw Trenchant shirt in Minneapolis. Awesome. New stuff is coming out in 2025. We don't know when yet. We are still in the writing process, but it's coming along great. And we're trying to do the balance between not dragging our feet on it, but then also not rushing it, because we want it to be the right thing. We're not on a label where there's any like pressure or anything, but we don't
like release date, deadline.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah.
But it's funny because, we played up till February, and then we stopped. So we could do a bunch of Imprecation stuff, and then start writing the new Trenchant album. And then like people now are going, what's going on with Trenchant? What's happening with Trenchant? And it's like, because I know there's no, we played up till March, I should say. But nevertheless, I'm noticing people are thinking there's something up, or that we're absent. So we do need to get back into it. I think if nothing
that's
else,
what these shows are good for too. You can get the word out.
Yeah. We're going to, like I said, we've already got a number of songs written for it that are coming together really nicely. I think we're going to start rehearsing again in 2025. Like, I don't have enough to do, but that'll be fine. And if nothing else, maybe we'll start making some live appearances again. Regionally, it's getting harder and harder because all the clubs are closing down.
Yeah.
The Lost Well in Austin is now gone, which is shitty.
That was a great place to play in Austin too.
It really was. It was ideal, and we had a good relationship with them, and we could pretty much do whatever we wanted there, which was really great. So pretty much you're going to see us in Houston, if you're going to see us in Texas right now, and maybe in the Valley occasionally. So we'll see. But yeah, you'll see more of Trenchant in 2025. You'll be hearing more from us in the midst of
I promise you probably have a better show in San Antonio if it wasn't booked against Fiesta week.
Oh, that was unbelievable. I mean, the fact that anybody showed up at all under those circumstances was still actually kind of a tribute, But that was rough. I mean, where do you play in San Antonio now? Bonds is gone,
The only thing, not Paper Tiger.
That's it, huh?
I think that would be it for Extreme, and probably the non-AC room next to the main venue.
Yeah.
I mean, and in the winter, or even right now, not so bad, but summer show.
Yeah,
Well, you know,
brutal.
you were there.
Yep.
It was
Yep.
hot as fuck. Pius Levis
Oh,
played that stage, man. I
it,
fucking
in the
drenched.
in the big room, it was unbelievably hot too, because there's like
That
900
club's never
people.
been able to keep it cool. I mean, like when there's a crowd, forget it. You're
Yeah,
gonna be hot
yeah,
as fuck at that
yeah,
fucking place. The AC's a joke.
yeah. Come to Ohio and start a scene. Jim Kanya tried to do that for years, and it never.
The land.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
Bonds is
do we ever
gone. So shit.
do we ever jam together? Not currently, but that's how Necron and I became friends.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's how we
Yeah,
first.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, let's. I guess we never even told that story. Have
I think we told the story once, but we can tell the quick
Yeah, there's
version.
probably some new viewers out there that haven't heard
Yeah.
it.
You were in Indignation,
Yep.
and I was forming a band called Diabolus that was completely unrelated, but we got to know primarily through Link in Indignation. He introduced me to you, and I
Because
remember,
I was out of Indignation.
yeah, and you and
no.
I. Go ahead.
No, I was saying I was out of Indignation, so I wasn't jamming with anyone at that time.
Yeah, and I remember so distinctly the first couple of times you and I spoke on the phone, and I realized that we had a ton of things in common. We're into all the same stuff, not just metal, but movies and all that type of thing. So
Comics, all that stuff.
yeah, comics, everything. So I was just like, awesome. And it was so funny because I was 16 and you were 20, I think, or 19 going on 20.
Yeah, I think I'm 5 years older, 4 to 5
you're
years older
yeah,
than you, whenever
yeah,
time
yeah.
of year it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was the old guy in the band.
And when you're 16, that's a big gap. Big gap.
Yes.
But we managed to bridge it, and yeah, we played a handful of shows with Diabolus and put out a demo, 2 demos actually.
2 demos. Yeah.
Yep. And that's the story with that. So we jammed way back when. Also, certain people like to suppress this information, but in the
Oh, that's right.
the first iteration of Thornspawn, I recorded and mixed the first demo.
The Dacian Empire.
Dacian Empire.
The Dacian Empire.
Yeah. And then
Jeff recorded on a 4-tracker.
On a 4-tracker. This is a great story. You guys were in the garage, and I was sitting on a upside down Home Depot bucket with the 4-track in my lap in the driveway with the headphones on, and I just mic'd everything up with like Radio Shack mics.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, it worked. It actually worked.
I mean, it's black metal, right? That's how it should be, like when you're going for that type of thing.
Yeah, and then for a very short time, I was driving down and playing bass.
Yeah, because Jeff left to go to college in Austin.
Yeah.
And he was playing bass for us, but it was becoming too much,
Yeah, the commute was too hard, and I was trying to go to school and all that. And then Averse Saphira quickly took off after that, so that's the history there. But yeah, so we do have a history, but we haven't jammed in a long time. So
no. I think we were going to do a Celtic Frost tribute band at one point, but then everybody just kind of got busy again doing other things.
And then everybody else started a Celtic Frost tribute band.
And used our name.
Yes.
That was a while back already.
Yeah, so it was just like, oh, well.
Yeah,
anyway.
There's plenty of Celtic Frost tribute bands now anyway. So that market's okay.
Yeah.
We need to... I need to find files of those Diablo songs to play them on the Witching Hour one day.
I'll send them all to you.
Yeah, just send them to me again, because I think I had them on my other computer that died.
Right.
And I don't think
they're all... Go on.
No, that was it. And I don't have access to them.
I'll send them over to you. I mean, just so people don't start like getting these insane visions of what it was. I mean, I thought the material written by a bunch of 16-year-olds was pretty strong, but their rehearsal demos.
I didn't write like any of the songs in Diabolus.
Yeah, it was all
You guys already had your thing going. I just came in and played rhythm and threw some leads and dive bombs.
leads.
And here
Yeah,
and
because
there.
none of us did leads, so that worked out good. We needed someone for leads. Yeah, the drive from Austin to San Antonio is just horrendous these
I
days.
don't even do
So
35. I go 281 now. I don't care.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's like, yeah, it might take longer, but it's less stressful.
yeah.
And you're actually moving. And it's a
Yes,
cooler scenery up in the hill country. So,
totally. Yeah, I gotta just do it that way going forward because I just want to kill myself going down 35.
yeah, it
But
sucks, man.
but yeah, so the Diabolus material, they were all just like rehearsal demos with overdubs. That's
Yeah,
effectively
yeah.
what it is, and it was heavily influenced by Onward to Golgotha and Dawn of Possession and Deicide. So that's
Oh,
kind of
you hear it in the riffs. It's pretty awesome.
yes,
I think it's
yeah,
good shit for like you said, 16-year-olds.
yeah. Chris Hill, the guitarist vocalist, was really he was very talented. It made me sick because I was taking guitar lessons and I showed him everything I knew, which was like 4 things, and then he went and bought a pawn shop guitar and
Uh-huh.
like started just banging them out and like and in like 6 weeks, not only had he figured out how to play rhythm guitar like really well, but then he'd also figured out squelches like Bob Vinya from
Yeah,
Inhalation. I was like,
yeah.
what the hell? It's like, how are you doing this? I still can't do that to this day. And he just did it overnight.
Yeah, that kid, well, not kid anymore, but
Yeah,
when I
but
first
he was
met
a
him,
kid at the time.
yeah, he was a good player.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, maybe we'll get that featured on next time we're on together. We can. I know we do kind of a little mini memory lane all the time, but maybe we
It kind of always can go down it, yeah.
yeah, we can do old school stories and play some Diabolus tracks.
Talk about shows like at the DMZ.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was going. Too bad we don't have the DMZ anymore. We could just play all our shows there and
Right.
have people have nobody come, just like those shows a lot of times.
Like at the DMZ. But at least you can
Yeah.
find a parking spot, right?
Yes, Immolation playing to 20 people on the Dawn of Possession tour at DMZ. Oh my god,
That's so crazy, right?
yes. I
And then
mean,
to come to find out that Eckertant and Prescriptor were there.
see, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
they
remember
were there.
later they. You know, it was so funny.
Barry, what's up, Barry?
At the Dismember show, I met the guy, the original bassist of Divine Eve, who, to my knowledge, I had never met before. He was there with Mike Sleven, also from Divine Eve, and we got to talking, and he mentioned the Immolation show back in 1992 at the DMZ, and I realized that I had met him all the way back then, 32 years ago. And that was insane to me because I said, I remember you guys were sitting on the curb waiting to get in, and you told me that your band was called Divine Eve, and we had this conversation. Yeah, it was just one of those crazy moments,
Yeah.
And he remembered. That was the part. He goes, I don't remember you, but I remember that conversation, and I remember sitting right there, and oh, man,
Funny how such a small show, had all these different people.
Yeah.
And
I mean-
it's just weird, right, man?
Yeah. I mean, the Dallas scene in the early 90s, those guys were everywhere. It was like 8 or 9.
Diehards.
Yeah, 8 or 9 dudes, but it was Ray and Russ, and then guys from Divine Eve and guys from the band Azazoth and Crucifix, and a whole bunch of dudes like that, and they were all like collaborating and floating around, and like they'd show up in San Antonio or Houston or whatever.
Well, let's just for shits and giggles, let's try to remember who was all at that Immolation show. We had, not that I'm not trying to make us a big thing, but we had me and you, Russ and Ray, Chris Gamble.
Well, yeah, because he was in Gorephobia.
Yeah, they were on tour with him. Then you had the Immolation guys. Alex Books was there. He was,
Yeah.
which was obviously going to be a volatile situation, but he was there. All and I think there were a couple others we're missing too. From the Texas scene who were out at that show as well.
God, it's a blur now. I was so excited to be
But we were
seeing
like
them.
this fucking immolation, you know, like oh
Yeah.
shit, man. Dawn's Possession, what? It just was it out already when they toured?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It'd been
right.
out for
Everybody was like, "Oh yeah, dude, fucking this album rules. Let's fucking go, man."
Yeah, it had been out for like 8 months, or basically a year. Yeah, Craig Smolowski on drums. I
Hey,
met
what's up,
him
Derek? Good to see you,
that
man.
night. I was opening for Immolation, playing bass for Indignation, Carl's former band. The next night in Houston, opening up for Agoraphobia. It was such an interesting lineup. It was Agoraphobia, Hex, Hexx, and Immolation. And then the opening local was Imprecation. And it was only their second show ever.
And wasn't it? Wasn't it? Fucking his first show too.
Who? Oh, Wes's first show.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
It
was Wes Weaver's first show with Imprecation. So
I
that
should
was
have been in
nuts.
that fucking Indignation show.
You should have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they fucked up. I'll say
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I should have.
Yeah.
Trajectory would have been different in that band if I would have stuck around.
Yeah.
Oh, got
Eh.
it. But yeah, whatever. Other different things happen for reasons, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So all those pieces of history, all those insane shows at the Axiom. That was my first Axiom show, and I'm like, whoa, they do things differently up here. You know,
Yeah.
really, really violent, drugs out in the open, which I wasn't used to. You know, like I went to so many shows at the Showcase, and I never saw anyone like chopping up coke on a table. You know, right there. But the Axiom was definitely where that was going on.
Showcase could be rough, but yeah, Axiom
Yeah.
was I think a little rougher from what I remember. I only went to a couple shows there. I think Immolation was one.
Yeah.
An after tour. I think was that the Axiom? I don't even remember.
Maybe they
Yeah.
played. No, you were. I mean, you came to the show at Voodoo Lounge in Austin. That was the one where.
But I
was a
saw
kid.
Here and After in
Oh, that
Houston.
was at the Abyss.
The Abyss.
Yes, I was.
Abyss. There you
Yeah,
go.
we were. I remember being there with you. You and I were both there for that. I remember.
Did you go with us, or did you
No,
go separate? I don't remember.
We went separate. I came from Austin with Sam.
Yeah, because I think I had Link, Fruit, Bone, and Little Chris.
Wow.
And we were
Cool.
driving Bone crazy on that fucking trip, dude. He was ready to get out of the car as usual. Anyway, I'm bored of the audience with that, but yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to jam some jam off Joined in Darkness?
Yes, please. Let's do it. Let's.
All right, let me get this.
I've been speaking of bone, and I've been boning up on these songs, trying to get them ready. So,
Here's Hidden Path to the Force Beyond.
yes.
Some Joined in Darkness classic Demoncy. Yeah, fucking evil rip. There you go. That was a short one, but for Demoncy. But there you go. That was off the Joined in Darkness, classic fucking record. All right, let's bring Jeff back on. All right, dude.
Yeah. Again.
So you'll be playing that full album.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. The whole thing. That's never happened before, so that's really exciting.
Yeah, that's like black metal fucking boner right there, dude. That's fucking great. Yeah, awesome.
Well, it was funny when Exithris, he was sending me the tabs for me to learn the songs, and he said, okay, all the songs that we're doing, here you go. And I looked and I went, hey, are we just playing Joined in Darkness? He goes, yeah. And I'm like, wow, okay.
Oh, badass. Yeah. What do they tune to, if I may ask?
Tune to A. No. I always say that. It's not A. That's imprecation. It's B.
B?
Yes. So, yeah, it's B. Which, luckily, the pitch shift pedal technology has gotten better, so I can just bring a bass tune to B over to Europe and then use the pedal to drop it to A.
Drop it down.
Yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Because
technical questions.
Yeah.
As a bass player, does it really make that big of a deal changing the tuning on the bass?
Yes.
Tell me about it, because I always thought like bass, you got 4 big strings. How hard is it or do you have to get like different gauge strings and all that?
You do.
Okay.
I mean, like to have it down tuned, imprecation changed everything for me because they tuned to A, which is about as low as you can get, where it's still an audible note on bass. And yeah, I have to buy 5-string sets and then drop the 5th string, the super skinny string from the bass, and then use the top 4 strings. And I actually have to get my basses now, the nut, where the string lays in the groove. I have to get those redone. I have a local tech up here who does all that great work for me. But yeah, I've had to change everything. Like, and then the intonation has to be different because the tension's more on the neck, and yeah. So
it's like guitar basically. If you keep going through all these crazy tunings, and you're gonna have to get your guitar set up for this.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, that's definitely a real consideration. So now all my basses are now dropped because I'm either playing in B or A. Just depending on. Well, yeah, I can use a heavier gauge. That's what I'm doing. But the problem is that big fat fucking 100.130 string will not fit in the nut where you have to lay it in before you tie it to the tuning peg. So you have to change everything. Yeah. And you can't just if you try to down tune standard bass strings without setting it up, the bridge up correctly, it's just like spaghetti. You can't do anything with them. Yeah, they're just super floppy. So yeah, that's to answer that question in short. Yeah, I have to do all that. But luckily now, like I said, everything I've got going with basses are all formatted to match that. I'm using like the super heavy gauge E string, 4th string.
I try to keep everything at E flat, and that's where I go with my tuning. I know it probably sound really heavy if we drop down and all that, but I think I used to tune the D. But I noticed, for me at least, it just sounds a little cleaner when you're up a little higher. It doesn't get so. But then you do sacrifice some of that super heavy fucking crush of the being down tuned as well. Yeah, you just have to find a happy medium. I mean, shit, Deicide was only in E flat, so yeah. I mean, sounds like I think they down tuned on Legion, but on the first one it was E flat. I mean, so was Slayer. So I think that's why I decided to do it. I was like, Slayer too. Hell waits, E flat. What can you do? Yeah, go wrong with that. Hey, all right, let's play some live stuff again, dude. Yeah, definitely. Let's get to see what they're doing. What it looks like now with Exithron 2023 Los Angeles. I'm sure Nacho was there. If you're still in the chat, let us know. Were you at this show in 2023? Let's check out some live Demoncy. right, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the venue might be, but it was Los Angeles in 2023.
Yeah. That was the same place we played with Born for Burning when they produced us out there. Oh, I'm suddenly forgetting the name. Nacho, if you can help me, it's
Yeah, Macho SOS again.
um,
Name of the venue in
it's
LA.
the billiards, but that's all I can remember. All of a
Oh, it's in a
sudden.
billiards place?
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool room. Really reminded me of the back room, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it
Yeah,
looked like it had a
same.
nice big stage and everything.
Yeah.
Good sound.
I mean, I think that's where that was. Maybe I've got it wrong.
Johnny says it was Disneyland.
Yeah, everything's Disneyland.
Here we go.
First Street Pool Hall. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's a cool place. But yeah, I mean, I expect at some point Demoncy will be playing LA again. I mean, why wouldn't we at this point, you know? So
Especially if it's home base, too. It kind of like makes sense, right?
would you like, can you?
Oh, Lifeline. He's fucking doing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Oh, yeah.
I'll take a lifeline, let me call.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
I remember we had a plot to do that. You were going to go on the show and I was going to be your lifeline.
Yeah. No, let me call Jeff.
Yep.
Answer the phone.
Yeah. Do not disturb, you know?
Right. You know,
Yeah.
nah, man, I'm watching TV. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Okay. Justin's been there. Cool.
Yeah. That was my, I think my favorite ever show in LA. I mean, with the Versafira, we played the Strip a couple of times at House of Blues. And despite that being like a nice venue with lots of, you know, the backstages were incredibly comfortable, but I really didn't enjoy actually playing a place like that. It was way too big. It felt disconnected. I mean, this is why I've never made a penny off my music, because I don't have that kind of ambition.
Yeah. I see what you're
know.
saying. Yeah.
I don't want to play those giant places. I
don't have fun at like really big shows anymore. Like I'm just
No.
like I like club shows, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
better to me.
Yeah, I can't go to arenas. I can't stand it. You know.
Yeah, Judas Priest is coming through, and I was like, I saw him last time, and I just like, you know. Not anything against Judas Priest. It's just like you said, you know, just I'm used to being you know, and how do I word this? Connected with the whole performance, and when there are these big giant arena shows, you're like you said, you're disconnected from it all. It's just
Yeah. I the only time I ever saw Judas Priest was when they were headlining over Heaven and Hell, the last tour they ever did with Dio, and
that was actually pretty good. Dio.
Yes,
Heaven
that
and
was
Hell.
That was unbelievable. They were so good. And
those smoke breathing gargoyles, remember those?
Yes,
that was fucking cool, man. Dry Ice.
Yeah, it was a great production, great performance, and then Judas Priest came out on a very weak album. It was like that Nostradamus concept album that, and you know, come right out of the gate jamming that stuff, and we watched.
Wasn't
3
Motorhead
songs.
on that too? I think that's.
Yeah, and I know that's heresy, man, but no, it was Motorhead, Testament,
yeah,
and then I think it was just Heaven and Hell, and then Judas Priest. Motorhead played while the sun was still up, and they were boring. You know, I mean, I am like the most metal fan, and I'm going to out myself right now. I have a lot of respect for Motorhead as far as their impact. They were definitely pioneers. Lemmy was an icon, no contest on that. But at the same time, I thought outside of like their hits, a lot of their songs were boring because it was like Little Richard era rock as their reference, you know, and that's where they came from. That's Lemmy's age. But
I mean, people don't like to hear it, but Lemmy always said they were a rock and roll band.
Yeah, they weren't a heavy metal band, and
they
you could really hear it.
Heavy metal, you know, on a lot of stuff. Yeah, okay, but
yeah.
No,
Proto-speed
I don't
metal.
even think I think on that show, I think I got there as Motorhead was playing. So
Yeah.
I really didn't even get to catch him really.
Yeah.
I think I just remember him in his white cowboy boots, and that was about it.
Yeah. I mean,
No.
Motorhead's definitely one of those greatest hits kind of bands. You get just like the live at Hammersmith or whatever, and I think that's gonna speak for itself. And again, no disrespect to them. It's just not where my head is at when it comes to heavy music.
Well, I mean, I remember too. Like, you're not the biggest Venom fan either, right? That's not.
No, that's what I was going to say next. I can't get into Venom. I've never been able to get into Venom.
I remember that too. Like, Venom, Jeff is like not really into it. Uh-oh, no. you got a Conrad here, Aaron. Same.
Yeah. And again, Venom was important. Lots of people were influenced by Venom.
Yeah, I love Venom and I love Motorhead, but I'm not gonna have crocodile tears because someone doesn't think the same way,
and
whatever.
It's so fucking easy now also to try to act like you know something by wearing a Motorhead shirt or a Venom shirt and then citing the first album and not knowing anything else in their discography. I mean, yeah, you got to start somewhere, but I think a lot of people stop there too. They're like, oh, Venom, yeah, welcome to hell.
Welcome to
okay,
hell.
great.
Oh,
yeah.
And black metal.
Black metal, yeah, exactly.
But what about Manitou, motherfucker?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, they had their moments. When I hear Venom, it's not like I go, "Oh, I hate this." It's not like that. It's just. I was telling this story just the other day when I was
controversial show. Things have gone.
Yeah. When I was getting into extreme music, such as it's called, I guess. I had friends who were back in like 4th grade who were trying to show me Motley Crue and Quiet Riot and stuff like that. And I just did not like any of that stuff. I didn't like the look of it. The sound was getting close to what I wanted, but it wasn't heavy enough. And I didn't know what heavy was. I just knew it wasn't what I was hearing in my head. And then I heard like Metallica and Slayer and stuff like that. I'm like, this is it. And that got me all the way there. I know for a lot of Europeans in particular, Venom was that moment for a lot of early metalheads, and that counts. It absolutely counts.
I'm 5 years older than you, so it would make perfect sense. I would love Venom.
Yeah, I think if I had been your age, maybe I would have been into Venom too. But it's like that had already passed me by. That wasn't by the time I got into everything at about 85. Venom wasn't all that relevant at that point.
It's kind of weird how fast things moved in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't there, you don't understand. 1981, 82, Venom was fucking on fire. 83, they're still kicking ass. And then you got like Slayer,
Yes.
and Dark Angel, and these bands like Sacrifice coming out, and Celtic Frost, big one.
Yeah.
Hellhammer, and Venom, and and Bathory,
Yes.
And it just kind of like people were like, Venom's cool, but goddamn, and then Possessed.
Yes.
And people were like, well, it was moving so fast. Like, you could be the king of the mountain, and a year or so later, you're kind of like already forgotten because things were getting so extreme so fast in the 80s.
Yes. And Slayer was a big line in the sand for me. Everything that didn't sound as heavy or as insane as Slayer just didn't really rate. And then that's why I got into Deicide, because I'm like, oh my God, this is even like more Slayer than Slayer. I mean, I know, people might think that's crazy, but I thought that was just like taking the Slayer model to this ridiculous extreme. So that's why I became
back then.
the number one.
That's like, I don't know, people may not agree, but that's like your next step from like Rain and Blood.
Yes.
It's the debut Deicide album.
Yeah.
And of course, you got all your grind stuff going on too with, Repulsion and Carcass and Napalm over, But it wasn't called grind. It was still being called death metal. It didn't start being called grind until maybe a little later.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I remember like just from you telling me this, but also just hearing it for myself, like Sadist Illusions, when that came out, that was like the fastest thing out there. That was such a Illusions. Chemical Exposure was what it was retitled.
Yeah, in the Metal Spirit really was. It was like one of the fastest, like hyper, death thrash albums, right? We started calling that
Yes.
style death thrash. It was,
Yeah.
starting to mix them both. They started
Yeah.
out as thrash bands, but then they started like, getting heavier and faster, and it's becoming death metal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking
Anyway,
Illusions rules, dude.
yes, I love that album. I mean, you got me into it way back when. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't want anybody to get me wrong. I'm not dismissing Venom or Motorhead or anything like that. I just didn't like anything that still had what I felt like were rock and roll conventions in there, and that couldn't be helped. Those bands were early entries, so they were coming. Metal didn't really exist yet, so they were
came from
coming
the
out
70s.
Yeah, they were coming from rock. I get it, but I didn't.
They were doing what Black Sabbath and punk rock,
Yeah, and I didn't want any echoes of that. I wanted it to be this pure mutation. And like I said, once I heard thrash and pretty much American thrash metal is what changed my mind on all of that. And I think band. I mean, like Kill 'Em All, of course, is all new wave of British heavy metal lifted. But then when they got on to Ride the Lightning, I mean, that was completely divorced from that origin. Same thing with Slayer on Haunting the Chapel and Hell Awaits. They all just moved, seismically away from all that stuff.
They started doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah. And
it became less new wave of British heavy metal worship, and we started getting thrash metal. I mean,
exactly.
Yes, I know the Germans. They have their their big part in thrash, but I think thrash was created in America.
Thrash is an American invention. I firmly agree. I mean, yes, the Germans did a great version of it. There's some great European speed and thrash bands that I really like. Oh, for sure. But yeah,
Pleasure to Kill right up there. But is that even thrash or is that death thrash?
I think it's death thrash.
I would call Pleasure to Kill death thrash for sure.
Yeah. So, anyway,
do this all night, right?
yeah, totally. In fact, I'm about to call it for the evening myself.
I just wanted to do a 2-hour show.
Yeah,
no late night because I still got to go forage for food here. So I'm.
Oh damn! All right.
Yeah, I haven't eaten dinner yet. So.
I love how this format works though, because it's basically you and I sitting here jamming music and talking about music like we always have. I've said this before in previous episodes.
There's really not much difference than a phone conversation or something.
Right. And then you guys get to like sit here and like audit our conversation and then like comment on it, which I love. I'm always glad to see so many people and so many regulars coming in and hanging out with us. This is really always really rewarding.
Totally unscripted, very organic conversation. There's no. I don't have any sheets of paper here about what I'm going to ask and do. Just hanging out, man.
Yeah. So I think
the best YouTube channels are like that, honestly, for metal.
Yeah.
Just natural personalities and things.
I still am always amazed by like some of the marathons like Francisco and sometimes Roy do, where like I turn it on like 3 hours after I looked at it last. I'm like, it's still going.
Yeah. I get my hats off to them guys. I did that for a while where I would do like 4 or 5 hour shows, and I'm like, okay, this is fun, jamming out, but I can't do it,
Yeah.
I think got some new people rolling in, dude. Jeez.
Hey, thanks for the support, Mike.
Mike rules, man.
Yeah. And thanks everybody for joining us all the time. It's great stuff. We appreciate it.
All right, we're gonna go out on a jam.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pick, and it's one of my favorite Reversifera songs.
Oh, thanks.
Deathheim. Any story behind that one?
Death Hymn. Yeah.
Death Hymn. I'm sorry. Death Hymn.
I do have a story about this song. It was a combination of reading a lot of Enochian texts and like the idea of how when the Sephiroth speak, they vibrate their voices. That it's kind of an abstract concept, but everything is all
thanks, fuck Costco.
It's very sonic, and I had basically it was a confluence of ideas because everything I do has like 4 or 5 sources, and there was a serial killer in the 70s named Herbert Mullen, and he was like terribly schizophrenic, and he actually believed that he was saving the world by killing people.
Just
truly truly delusional. He wasn't a sadistic killer. He just was nuts. And he had a voice in his head, and when he was going to kill someone, he was saying he was singing the die song. And I love the idea of just there being a music. I was like trying to imagine what that must have sounded like, the music of killing somebody. And then I wove it into the mythos we were doing with the Versifera, with the War of Angels, Paradise Lost kind of stuff. So
very cool.
So yeah, and we had we had our sound engine. Well, not our sound engineer, but sort of our shadow member, the Lady of the Evening Faces. She came up with this. I never knew how she did any of this stuff. She did it all through analog recordings, but she just got this whole cacophony of horrible shrieking. And so we use that in the song too. You'll hear it in just a second. But
before we go, this is a good question. 'Cause I don't know if some people, are you still in contact with Sam and Mark? Do you still talk to any of them dudes?
I am not in contact with Sam. I haven't spoken to Mark in a long time either. No bad blood, just lives heading in different directions.
People going different directions, yeah.
I mean, when you stay in the trenches like I do, and then the people that you were with get out, you're in that trench, and only like you and all our other common friends, we're the ones that are still in communication because we're all still on the same channel. So short answer, no, I haven't spoken to either of them in quite a while.
All right. Well, there you got your answer, but let's hear some great American black metal that I put the flag down, dude, and made a mark, man. Here we go. Let me get this put up here.
Cheers, everybody.
Gotta stop.
T-Bone!
T-Bone! T-Bone! T-Bone! T-Bone!